Regular season's wrapping up. The postseason's about to start.
Chargers win it, and they are in the postseason for the first time since 2018, and the first time in the young career of Justin Herbert.
Where does your favorite team fit into the grand scheme of things? Well, let's dive right into our Week 17 power rankings to find out. Number 32, Houston Texans. Last time's ranking, 32. Houston finally won their first game since Week 5, defeating the stumbling Tennessee Titans on the road. Ending an embarrassing losing skid is nice and all, but go back into the loss column if, they want to lock down that first overall pick. Number 31, Chicago Bears. Last time's ranking, 31. That is now 8 straight losses for the Bears, whose lack of talent was on full display in their loss to the Buffalo Bills. GM Ryan Poles and head coach Matt Eberflus knew they were inheriting a rebuilding team, but when it comes to fixing this roster, where do they even start? Number 30, Indianapolis Colts. Last time's ranking, 30. Another ugly outing for Jeff Saturday, who may be ruining his chances of ever getting another head coaching gig in the league. Seriously though, what's with all these quarterback sneaks with old, slow, weak quarterbacks on 4th and 1? It didn't work with Matt Ryan last week. Did he really expect the outcome to be any different with Nick Foles under center? At this point, the Colts season cannot end soon enough. Number 29, Arizona Cardinals. Last time's ranking, 29. Do you applaud Arizona for nearly beating Tom Brady with a third stringer at QB? Or do you criticize this team for letting another game slip away thanks to inexplicable miscues and questionable play calling? That fumble on a 3rd and 1 pitch with the game in their grasp all but sums up the 2022 Cardinals. Cliff Kingsbury isn't the guy to lead this team. The way Arizona has blown all these close games with him at the helm is laughable and sad at the same time. Number 28, Denver Broncos. Last time's ranking, 28. The Broncos got humiliated by the Baker Mayfield-led Los Angeles Rams on Christmas Day, and it ultimately cost Nathaniel Hackett his job. Hackett wasn't coming back in 2023, so I guess why delay the inevitable? Unfortunately for Denver, they're stuck with Russell Wilson for the long haul. Let's see if they can find a coach that can actually help him rebound next season.
That's not what he wanted to cook.
Number 27, Atlanta Falcons. Last time's ranking, 25. Alright, it was fun while it lasted. The Falcons were alive in the pathetic NFC South for a while, but reality has now set in. This banged up team, which is lacking in star power, is back in play for a top 5 draft selection. So yeah, Falcons fans may as well cheer for 2 more losses to close out the season. Number 26, Cleveland Browns. Last time's ranking, 22. Deshaun Watson's first 4 games with Cleveland have not been good. A 57.7 completion percentage, 2 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions, and his team has topped 13 points just once. At this point, it's looking like the Browns were much better off just sticking with Baker Mayfield. Number 25, Las Vegas Raiders. Last time's ranking, 21. 6 days after a miracle win against New England, the Raiders, stop us if you've heard this before, had another 4th quarter collapse and fell to the Steelers in the freezing cold conditions in Pittsburgh. Some serious self-evaluation is in order. Number 24, New Orleans Saints. Last time's ranking, 27. Too little, too late for the Saints. They won a defensive slugfest in the brutal Cleveland winter to move to 6-9 on the year. And while they aren't officially eliminated from the playoffs, their chances are not looking good. Number 23, Los Angeles Rams. Last time's ranking, 26. Baker Mayfield for Comeback Player of the Year? Huh? Okay, that might be a bit of a stretch, but still, it is pretty amazing what he's done since arriving in LA. If he can finish these last 2 games on a productive note, Mayfield just might play his way towards a new starting opportunity in 2023. Number 22, New York Jets. Last time's ranking, 16. Stick a fork in him, Jets edition. That is a 4th straight loss, largely courtesy of another Zach Wilson staker, and that has the Jets below 500 and on the ropes. Throw in Jay Glazer's report that the Jets are ready to move on from Wilson, and you have the makings for a juicy offseason in the Big Apple. Number 21, Tennessee Titans. Last time's ranking, 15. That is now 5 straight losses for Mike Vrabel's Titans, and with Ryan Tannehill down for the year, the team's streak of 6 straight winning seasons is on thin ice. No matter what happens in Week 17, their Week 18 meeting in Duval County will decide the AFC South Division winner. One chance for Vrabel and company to redeem themselves. Will they make good on it? Number 20, New England Patriots. Last time's ranking, 18. It's just hard to comprehend how a Bill Belichick coach team keeps keeps committing uncharacteristic mistakes. Ramondre Stevenson's costly fumble near the 5-yard line sent New England into the L column yet again. If only someone had gotten Belichick a real offensive coordinator for Christmas. Number 19, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Last time's ranking, 20. The Bucs don't need to apologize for winning ugly, even if it's kind of silly that they needed overtime and some Tom Brady magic to beat a 4-win Arizona team with a third-string QB. Tampa still controls their own destiny. A win against the Carolina Panthers on Sunday locks up the NFC South. Number 18, Seattle Seahawks. Last time's ranking, 14. The Seahawks were no match for the Kansas City Chiefs at Arrowhead in Week 16, and the result was a third straight loss. This team started as the ultimate feel-good story in the first half, but now the Hawks look poised to miss the playoffs in consecutive years for the first time in the Pete Carroll era. If it is any consolation, they're about to get a top 5 pick courtesy of the Broncos, so, it's not all bad. Number 17, Pittsburgh Steelers. Last time's ranking, 23. And don't look now, but the Steelers are 7-8 and still alive in the playoff race. And they still have a great shot at keeping their streak alive of no losing seasons since 2003. The playoffs are still a pipe dream, but getting 7 wins with all those injuries on D and their inconsistent quarterback play up to this point is a testament to Mike Tomlin's coaching. Number 16, Carolina Panthers. Last time's ranking, 24. The Panthers put a screeching halt to the Detroit Lions' 3-game winning streak to keep their NFC South hopes very much intact. The formula is simple for Steve Wilkes and company: win out and the division is yours. And oh boy, what a story it would be if they pulled it off. Number 15, Washington Commanders. Last time's ranking, 13. The Commanders had a tough stretch of opponents, no doubt, but consecutive losses isn't ideal. They fell flat on their faces against the San Francisco 49ers, and now a playoff spot is no longer a sure thing. The good news is that Washington still controls their own destiny. 2 more wins against Cleveland and then a Dallas team that's likely to rest its starters, and the Commanders are in. Number 14, Detroit Lions. Last time's ranking, 12. The Lions were in control early against Carolina before imploding in the second quarter, getting outscored 17-0 en route to a 37-23 loss. The Lions aren't done for yet, and it's still miraculous that they're in playoff contention in the first place. But still, that is a tough loss to stomach given all the effort they put in during the second half. Number 13, Miami Dolphins. Last time's ranking, 10. That is now 4 straight losses for the Dolphins, who no longer look like a bona fide Super Bowl contender. The defense has been getting exposed time and time again against top-flight offenses, and Tua Tagovailoa has to stop with the back-breaking turnovers. Number 12, New York Giants. Last time's ranking, 11. The Giants were so close to upsetting the Minnesota Vikings on the road, but they dropped a heartbreaker thanks to Greg Joseph's game-winning 61-yard field goal. Washington's loss to San Francisco was a huge win for the Giants, though. They're still in good position to snag a playoff spot, with the Indianapolis Colts next on the schedule. Number 11, Jacksonville Jaguars. Last time's ranking, 19. Just as we all predicted, the Trevor Lawrence-led Jaguars are 1 win away from capturing the AFC South. Yeah. Like we said earlier, it all comes down to that Week 18 matchup with the Titans. Winners in 4 of their last 5, the Jaguars are showing their ability to hang in there with the big boys, as evidenced by epic comeback wins over Baltimore and Dallas. Number 10, Green Bay Packers. Last time's ranking, 17. The Packers have now won their last 3 games and are suddenly the wildcard contender nobody wants to face in January. The simplest path to the playoffs for Green Bay is to win their final 2 games and hope that Washington loses one of their final 2 contests. It's not out of the question, folks. Number 9, Baltimore Ravens. Last time's ranking, 8. The Ravens struggled offensively without Lamar Jackson once again, but the defense flexed its muscles and flustered Falcons rookie quarterback Desmond Ridder while escaping with a 17-9 victory. Baltimore clinched a playoff spot with that win, buying Jackson extra time to rest up if need be. Number 8, Los Angeles Chargers. Last time's ranking, 9. Their offense wasn't quite clicking, but the Chargers still left Indy with a 20-3 victory thanks to their defense. That should make Brandon Staley very happy, as their defense has now put together impressive performances in the last 3 straight after being a glaring weakness through the first 3 months of the season. Number 7, Minnesota Vikings. Last time's ranking, 6. Maybe it's unfair to move the Vikings down despite another 1-score win, but they are not as good as their 12-3 record indicates. Just look at their point differential of +5. Kirk Cousins, Justin Jefferson, and Dalvin Cook have powered the way to a division title, but you get the feeling that the defense will cost them in January. Number 6, Dallas Cowboys. Last time's ranking, 7. The Cowboys barely kept their NFC East hopes alive with a thrilling win at AT&T Stadium against the Gardner Minshew-led Philadelphia Eagles. Thing is, Minshew looked like Patrick Mahomes out there against a Dallas D that has been exposed over the last 3 weeks. That has got to get cleaned up if they want to avoid another one-and-done performance in the postseason. Number 5, Kansas City Chiefs. Last time's ranking, 5. The Chiefs took care of business against an unraveling Seattle team at home, but the Buffalo Bills' win over Chicago keeps KC in the number 2 seed for now. All the Chiefs can do is continue to take care of business and hope that the Bills suffer a loss, or even a tie. Not sure if he cares that much about the individual honors, but Patrick Mahomes still looks like the frontrunner to win the MVP. Just saying. Number 4, Cincinnati Bengals. Last time's ranking, 3. The Bengals nearly blew it in embarrassing fashion against the Patriots on Saturday, but the opportunistic D sealed it with a late forced fumble on Ramondre Stevenson. The Bengals just love giving their fans scares, don't they? But Joe Burrow and company always find a way to win, and we saw how that worked out for them last year. They're likely to be the number 3 seed heading into the playoffs, but you can argue that they're the team to beat in the AFC right now. Number 3, San Francisco 49ers. Last time's ranking, 4. The 49ers are perhaps the most balanced and talented team in football at the moment. Despite being down to their 3rd-string QB, the 49ers look every bit as dangerous with Brock Purdy as they did with Trey Lance or Jimmy Garoppolo. The defense is still locking down the fort, and Christian McCaffrey has added another explosive element to this offense. These 49ers look ready to go for the postseason. Number 2, Buffalo Bills. Last time's ranking, 2. The Bills made relatively easy work of the Bears and continue to maintain control of their own destiny for the AFC's top seed. Buffalo fans know how crucial that is, as they don't need a reminder about how their last 2 seasons ended. But it won't get any easier with a road game against the Bengals up next on their schedule. Number 1, Philadelphia Eagles. Last time's ranking, 1. Even without Jalen Hurts under center, the Eagles still nearly pulled off the upset in Dallas against the rival Cowboys. They're still likely going to end up as the NFC's top seed, and we know the defense is better than what we saw in Dallas. Philly was due for a loss anyway, and it helps to get these out of the way as opposed to in January. The Eagles can lock up the division with a win over the Saints on Sunday. But what's your Super Bowl 57 prediction with just 2 weeks to go in the regular season? Join us in the comment section below. If you like this video and learned a thing or two, clicking the like button helps out a ton. And hey, we appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching and we'll see you guys next time.